Hey, RZ back here again. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. Had a few small crises happen in life, but it's life. Everything's good. I lost my little baby sister on Mother's Day this year, which was really hard to kind of handle, but you know, life is life. We're born, we live the best we can. Sometimes we don't live the best we can. Sometimes we live like a bunch of idiots, and then we die. And then after that, well, that's why I'm here, because everybody asks questions about what happens after this life, this 100 years. Oh yeah, it was rough. My sister's children are really being strong. They're being tough, and they're doing good. So it's not easy. Never is, especially Anne was such a wonderful, happy girl. She's just in life was not necessarily her friend. She'd been drugged through the streets pretty good, but she smiled, and I guess that's kind of what we do as people. But anyway, that's the past. Today's a new day, and we need to carry on. And I mean, if anything, we need to live for her. Let these things remind us that life can end any day for any of us. She was only 55. So, that being said, I have been. It's been really hard for me this year with everything that happened in 2020 and with the division in our government and the people, not just our government. I mean, they've got us all separated, fighting against each other. It is a war tactic, if you will, the way that they can keep us separated. That's why you keep hearing this racial thing. It's the stupidest thing in the world. The people that are yelling it are the most racist people out there. But it's a game. It's how they keep us all separated, and they keep us apart by trying to convince each one of us that we don't like each other. That's all it is. If there's people I don't like, I just don't hang out with them. I have no problem with them. They can live their life. But I don't have any enemies except Satan and whatever people are following his ways. But how interesting the news media and Hollywood and everything that is brainwashing people. I mean, it's if you watch TV, just basic TV, most of it's violence. Most of it's got crime involved. There's not very many good Little House on the Prairie shows out there. Why is that? Ask yourself that. Seriously, ask yourself that. And don't tell me the cartoons are funny. The Simpsons and Family Guy, those are just absolutely the stupidest shows I've ever seen. The Big Bang Theory, this is just a bunch of garbage. It's just bad entertainment. So, no, I'm not going to say I'm sorry to people that watch it and think it's funny. No, I'm not going to go that step. So, watch something good, okay? Do something meaningful. The whole part of TV is to, and I was guilty for years. I watched it as much as I could. Today, I hate it. I can't stand it. It's my enemy. And I have 3 TVs, one in my RV and one in each room in my place, and I can't stand them. They're just nothing but, it takes up our time. Everything on there is absolute garbage. You can't trust the news networks anymore. If you think you got it figured out and you got an answer for me, I would love for you to let me know about it, because I must have missed something. But anyway, I shall not be afraid, because my Father in heaven has got it figured out. There's nothing these people slip by him. This is all happening, and God's got his hand on it. Yeah, it's ugly, and it is. And, he gives us free will to do what we want. And the instruments that are not his do what they want. They're the devil's pawns. That's pretty much the bottom line. You're either good or bad. You're either right or wrong. It's hard to say because, dude, I'm going to offend a lot of people. But you know what? Take it to heart. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to give you a lesson or a message, if you will. I'm not saying I'm smarter than you. But if you look at what's going on out there in the world, you got to pick a side to be on. And if you're not picking a side that's nice, kind, happy, loving your brother, your neighbor as yourself, then you're picking the wrong side. All these people that have become, I guess I will say, Democrat supporters, not that they're any different than Republicans, but anybody that has taken sides with the people who have made so many enemies and have hated so badly. And I mean, you're talking 2020 was a landmark year of hate through the TV, seriously, or the radio. If you never watched TV or radio and never listened to it, your life would be so much different. But see, that's what happens. Propaganda gets out there, it floods the waves, and people watch it. Just saying, people, think about it. Think about what you're doing, who you're following, because if it's not right, if you're not loving your brother or yourself, your neighbor, and I'm not talking about the ones that you like, the good ones, I'm talking about the ones you don't like. If you're not doing that, and if you're not walking according to the statutes of the Bible, or if you just think that you can do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt anybody else. I've heard that one before. That one doesn't work. It never will work. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Because if you're just doing what you want, as long as you think it's not hurting somebody else, look at, if you're not helping somebody else, you're probably hurting. That's the way it works, bottom line. So, my whole message today is relax, one. Two, figure out the right way. Figure out what's right and wrong. Figure out what's up, what's down. I mean, for people to say there is no right and wrong, that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's like if there's no black, dark, there's no white. If there's no nighttime, there's no daytime. There's always options. So, in Proverbs 13, it was my study this morning, my reading. Oh, and it's in 13:5. A righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and come to shame. We can sit here all day and debate who lies and who doesn't lies. Only the person that's actually speaking knows it. And there's another spot in here that's amazing about talking. It is, it's good. I'm going to find it while I'm babbling on here. The way you choose the accurate compass, if you will, north and south of right and wrong, or who should say what, is to measure it against what's out there. It's like a tape measure, you know. If you got a 2-foot block and you want to put it in a 1-foot hole, it's not going to work. It's just not going to fit. So you measure. The measurements of life are bound up in this. Now, don't tell me that that's not true and that this is not real. It doesn't get more real than that. It's an object, and it's got words in it, and it's got the most famous, wonderful words of life in it. And it's for people, it's for us. You can deny it if you want. You know, you can quit putting gasoline in your car, but you're not going to get to work every day once you run out of gas. It's just not going to happen. No matter what you believe, your car has to have gas to run. We have to have rules. And it can't be Bruce Jenner's rules or some other idiot's rules. It has to be a set of rules from the beginning of time. And I'll tell you what's in there makes sense. It makes perfect sense because it's all about me caring for you. If I do that and then you care for me, guess what, people? There's no problems. America is cleaned up with a snap of a fingers. If everybody's hearts would change overnight, this place would be like living in heaven. So, man, it's it's an ugly world, and we're going through a lot of stuff, and then in the meantime, sometimes you got to go through death and life. You celebrate someone's life after they pass away. You don't get to see family members very often because everybody's so busy. But when someone dies, of course, we all get together. Go figure, right? It's kind of odd, but there's kind of a crazy meaning to that. But we get together then, and it's a good thing. We're supporting each other through these tough times. That's what we're supposed to. That's what we're all supposed to do. The churches are supposed to be doing that. I believe we've dropped the ball heavily on that. I'm ashamed of our churches, and it's actually not done well for the name of Jesus Christ, as far as I'm concerned, because they've got in bed with the government pretty much, and they're kind of doing things the way the government wants to do it. So I can see why if you were a real church, you would not be probably allowed to even open your doors here in America. But they've decided they still want to try to get as many as they can. I don't know how far. I'm not going to be the judge of this. This is not my thing. I just want to encourage these churches and these pastors and these people to have a different outlook on it and separate. You need to be separated. I need to be separated from this world completely, heart-wise and thinking-wise. Because, look at the ways of the world. I mean, we got guys wanting to be girls, girls wanting to be guys. Was brought up so they can play sports. So a guy that's not really good at sports maybe can play in a woman's sports and be good. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's a crazy world. But that's what we got. So we, as the ones who are really true Christians, that we call ourselves Christians, and I don't even like calling myself it. I would much rather persuade people by my actions, by my words. Less words, of course, is always good. Your actions speak louder than words. Your walk is your walk. If you got a walk that's good and honorable, then you should. People will know. They'll see the difference in you, and that's how we got to beat all this stuff. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. There's just so many good things in the Bible. Nobody can sit there and tell me that they read the Bible and I've heard them say that they're trading. So I'm trying to think of how some of the people have said this to me. They've left the Bible. They don't believe in the Bible. They say that the Bible is a slave owner and that wants you to do his way. And they don't want to do that. So they decide to do it the world's way. So, which is whatever you want, pretty much. I can never quite figure that out. There's nothing, the Bible talks about slavery because that's part of life. It's in there, and it's in the Bible, and it explains it. And it explains for slaves to honor their masters. And right after that, guess what it says? It says, masters, be good to your slaves. Treat them good, look, some people want to be slaves. I'm kind of a slave to my job. I like my job. I like it a lot, and I do it. It's not always fun days. Most of it is, I must admit, but I give myself to that. So I put myself in that boat where I have an employer who is my master at that point in time in life. And so, in a way, we're all slaves to something. Some people have a lot of kids, gosh, my mom and dad had 12 kids. What were they thinking, right? But, they were the masters, and the kids were slaves to the parents, pretty much, and it's all a package deal of love and respect and kindness, all the good things that Ephesians talks about, not the bad thing, not about, just satisfying yourself because it feels good at the moment. No, it feels better to put aside your attractions and tend to somebody else better. It feels way better. Most people don't know because they haven't tried it. So, but I'm not going to keep this too long. It is June 4th, 2021, almost halfway through. looks like it's getting better out there. Some states are still kind of trying to stay shut down. Other states are opened up completely. Uh, but you know, remember today when you come home or when you sit down. I know it's habit. TV has pretty much just made itself a place for us to go for entertainment, and it's easy to do. It's like any addiction. You get started in it, you get used to it, and you do it. It gets to be habit. I think the hardest thing for us as humans to do is break those chains and try to find something better to do. So I'm working on it. I ain't got it figured out yet. I'm working on it though, and I'm going to keep working on it. And I'm going to be happy while I'm working on it. This world does not scare me. What's going on does not scare me. I am concerned for little children of this world because they're being brainwashed into some terrible stuff. It's been going on for centuries. It's nothing new under the sun. Read Ecclesiastes. Do that too. Read it a couple times over. Yeah, it's not hard to understand. It pretty much hits you right in the forehead with a 2x4. How life works. It's a good book to start, and of course Proverbs always. All right, I'm going to try to get some more of these out a little bit more often here, and I hope that my encouragement to people out there is positive. If I offended you, whatever, I can't say that I was not offended last year by the way that our country was treating each other. Go figure, we're going to get offended, so deal with it. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to get mad, or are you going to do something good about it? That's the difference. So do something good. And remember, it's not about you. It's not about me. Us talking to ourselves. For me, it's about you. For Jesus, it was about us. Now, you can sit here and trivialize it as much as you want, but how many people come down from heaven, give up their deity, live for 30-something years, teach and help us to understand how life is supposed to work, and then are beaten with an inch of their life, nailed on a cross, and hung up to die for the people, the sinners, the awful people of this world? I can only think of one, and it did happen. There's more facts about that than anything else. Talking about facts. Yeah, so I'm starting there. You can't beat that. There's nothing out there that outdoes that, and it should be a message for us to love your brother as yourself. Take care of your neighbor. It should be about that. That's what it should be about. This country is going to hell in a handbox because we don't give two shits about the other guy. We want all the power, all the control, and all the money for ourselves, and all the notoriety too, by the way. Yeah. Be careful. Be careful what you say and what you do out there, people, because at some point in time in this life, you're going to be held accountable for it. Maybe not by these humans, but God says many places in His Word that be very careful what comes out of your mouth. It's like poison. It starts a huge forest fire, per se. It says in James that it's a all-consuming, terrible thing. You can break a person's spirit, crush them, and wipe them out with your words. So try to make your words good, positive, edifying. Okay? And no, you can't put me in that box because I say that you need to know the Lord and that's the only way for salvation. That's not putting fireworks. That's putting fire on your head to remind you that it's time to get it right. Look, if I didn't care about people, I wouldn't waste my time with these videos, and I don't even know who's going to be watching them. But that's okay. That's right. God wants me to do what I can in whatever way I can, as often as I can, to reach people, so that at the end of this 100 years or whatever we have, sometimes it's only 40, 52, 55 years, we have a big party to go to at the end, a good one. And for the people who refuse it and absolutely reject it, their party is not going to be very fun. Just want you to know that. It's not. It's not nothing good about it. Nothing. And I don't wish that upon anybody. So all right, RG's checking out here. I'm going to do a little bit of house cleaning and just going to enjoy the day. So, all right, everybody. Love you. And Jesus is the reason. And it's our only answer. So have a great day.